Happy Thursday. How goes it? Welcome to the channel where our goal is to always fix it in camera and then finesse it in post. And today I want to definitely chat about something that comes up quite a lot when working on YouTube and doing the YouTube channel is how do I continue to be consistent on the channel? How do I continue to just find the time to keep making videos day in day out when it isn't my main source of income. It isn't my main focus. It isn't even probably my top five in terms of my sources of income. So how do I find time to continue with doing it? And today I want to bring a guest on that has a similar path to me, but he has a completely different background. He has the same path coming onto YouTube, that he started it because he saw the potential to grow his main sources of business. So I'm going to welcome on and to the stream, Avars. Hello, happy Thursday.
Hello.
If you want, take a moment and introduce yourself and what your background is and how long you've been doing YouTube and all that, and then we'll get into the fun stuff after that.
Hello. My pleasure to be here. So, I am, let's say, part-time YouTuber, same like you. YouTube is not my main thing, and not even, also revenue stream. My main thing is iOS app development. I'm developing iOS applications for myself. That is my business. And also I am freelancing and developing iOS applications for others. And also I am building startups with friends. We are building, basically I would say I am doing three main things: iOS app development for myself, freelancing, and startup where I am more like product manager, product owner. Yeah, that's shortly about me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I remember the way we kind of started chatting is I did a EOSR video. I think you commented on it, and then I checked out your channel and I saw that you were doing all this development, and we just started kind of chatting back and forth. And I noticed that you, like, your passion for YouTube was almost similar to mine, where it's like you enjoyed doing it, you enjoyed the community that was built around the whole thing. Like, it's just the people that you meet is one of the best things, and you weren't doing it because of the money potential, especially early on. And so I wanted to chat about your perspective, how you approach YouTube, and how do you keep consistent, because you keep making videos and you shared your analytics. You shared how much you make on, like, from your channel and whatnot, but it's not your main revenue stream. But
No.
you still continue making YouTube videos. So how do you continue to be consistent on a platform that probably costs more and takes up more time than it brings in? So I'm curious about your perspective on that.
Yeah, I just maybe a few words why I started YouTube. So when I started freelancing, I dropped a full-time job as product manager, head of products, because I wanted to have more free time, more flexibility, and I started freelancing. And when I started freelancing and working from home, I decided that I would like to have possibility to share my work. Maybe that will bring some customers also, and so on. And I started Instagram channel. And I checked dates. That was back in 2018, May 1st. And in Instagram, quite often I was asked about different programming related questions. And I found that that is kind of easy way to answer them: record video, post that on YouTube, and so on. And that's basically how I started YouTube. And I started to do everything just using iPhone, like, I don't know, many of us. But then I got into cameras and so on, and I really started to enjoy to create those videos, edit those, to learn more about cameras, because in 2019, probably I bought my first camera. So before I used it only phone for photos and so on. So yeah, and that community around when you create videos and you see feedback that people are saying that yeah, you really saved my life with that tutorial or with that video that really inspires me and so on, that just helped to keep going, because I expected that I will see more haters, but I saw just few negative comments and most of feedback is positive, and that really inspires. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right on the money with that, because I expected a lot of people to just start kind of calling me out for not knowing this, not knowing that, or they do it differently, or it's done this way. But because I've been doing it, that didn't really appear. A lot of people started saying, it's like, oh, thanks. I wish I learned that sooner, or it's like that would have been a great thing to know from, you know, that it's coming from someone that's actually done it. You've went through the frustration of learning it, and you're like, well, this is something that I can share, and that's the anchor that I kind of took the whole YouTube channel from. And so you started in May 2018, right? That's so you've been doing this consistently
I
for.
started I started Instagram in May.
Oh, okay.
YouTube I started later. I just checked my in 2018 I posted 2 videos. In 2019 I posted 19 videos. And in 2020 I decided that I would like to be consistent and record videos not only when I am asked, but when I, let's say so, do not wait too much.
Yeah.
Before I recorded videos, when I saw that yeah, this question is asked already 20, 30 or more times, and I already am tired to write back the same answer or copy paste the same answer, and I
Yeah.
see that could be good to record video. I decided just to be more consistent. In 2020, I started to post videos weekly.
And so I asked you this before. This is your technically your first YouTube channel, right?
Yes, yes. I
Yeah.
have. You can find one more, the same Ivers Meyer's name and channel, but there are, I don't know, 3, 4 random videos.
Mhm.
But this is kind of first YouTube channel. Yeah.
Yeah, like for me, I would say that this is my third YouTube channel. I had one, I think I started in 2011, where it was all tutorials in After Effects and Cinema 4D, all how to get speed up your renders, how to do this motion graphics trick, how to do visual effects. Definitely influenced heavily through Andrew Kramer. If you guys know who he is, give the stream a thumbs up. But yeah, so I was doing that, and I was helping people figure out those little things that were frustrations, but when I figured it out, I was able to do it. And it was just screen share and just showing people and answering those kind of questions. And then my wife and I, we did a vlog channel. I think we got like 8 videos up before we're just like, this is not something that we want to do. This is not like, we liked making the videos. We liked having
Yeah.
the memories, but it was just like, I don't know if we want to share this much about our lives, and where does this go? Where does this lead? So we kind of took a step back from that. There's still videos out there floating. I'm not going to name the channel. And then we kind of decided that we liked the process of making videos. We liked the process of engaging with people, but we asked ourselves, like, what is the thing that we can't shut up about? Like, what is the thing that we would talk to anybody who would listen, not necessarily friends and family, but like anyone that would listen. It's like all those fans that love talking about Star Wars, and
Yeah.
that's what they can't talk about or can't stop talking about. So that was the basis of what we looked into. And when we found those things, it's easy to make videos for consistently. That's one of the things that becomes like, I enjoy making videos about how to fix stuff before you hit the record button, or how to make it look a little bit better, because it saves so much time, it saves so much energy in the long run. Like spending an extra 10 minutes now is going to save you hours and hours later. And my
Right.
wife found, like for her channel, she found the exact same thing, where it's just, this is the thing that she loves doing in her spare time, and it has nothing to do with what I do. And she's actually specifically asked not to call out her channel, because then, like, if people went over there, it would mess up her analytics, and it would be a different crowd that's not designed for
Yeah.
that. So, and then on the consistent part, so do you plan out your, oh, you know what? See, I get so excited that I forgot to do this. I built that whole thing, and I wanted to make sure that I do use it. So,
Thank you. Yeah.
so do you plan out your videos, or like you said, or do you wait for a couple questions, one or two questions, and then you make something, or do you have like an idea of what is a pain point for people and how to fix it, or how to adjust it?
On on very beginning of YouTube channel, I started just to answering questions which were most asked, and I am recorded videos just to answer those questions. But currently, for a while ago, I already have backlog with videos. There are questions who are asked. There are topics which I would like to talk about. And sometimes, you are reading the book and you get inspired, or you
Mhm.
see some tweet, or you're watching some movie, whatever inspires you. And that generates some idea, and I'm writing down. And currently, I don't know, way too much video ideas in the backlog.
And do you write them all down? Do you use a program
Yes.
like Notion and just kind of?
I'm using Notion. Yeah, I'm using Notion. I have quite a few things that I do not like in Notion, but Notion is the best that I've found so far,
For the
because that
price, it's
is,
pretty good.
yeah, for the price it's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I like that you can build different boards, Kanban
mhm.
boards, different relation database. You can play around with data and so on. And but for writing, that is very bad text editor, let's say so. Sometimes I just writing some scripts in Apple Note and posting later in Notion just to keep them in one place.
Yeah, I went from Notes to Evernote to Microsoft Notes, and then to now Notion. Now, do you batch record at all, or do you just kind
Mm,
of one off as soon as it's done, you kind of post it, and then you move on to the next
I
one?
I I almost never batch record. There was few weeks. Sometimes it happens when I recording some short for
Mhm.
TikTok or Instagram, and then I recording YouTube video. Or few times I did so that I'm recording YouTube videos. Let's say A-roll, just talking part, and then I do the same but very short version and in portrait mode for social networks. That kind of batch record, yes, but just to plan one day for video recording and batch record 5 videos, no. I don't do that.
See, for me, I do like to batch record, and it's just because of the workflow that I go. When I start writing, I like the writing process because it allows me to use the fewest amount of words that convey the exact message that I'm trying to go for. And that just comes from my background, because I work in the commercial space where you only had 30 seconds and you only could use 60 words, and they had to be perfect to convey exactly
Yeah.
what was what was intended. And I actually liked that, because it made my videos at least feel they were compact. Like 3 minutes, you're there. I didn't have to waste my time to record it, because I already thought it out. And and so, because I'm able to write most of my scripts, I can write while I'm working on some other stuff, while I'm waiting for a render to happen, or when I'm waiting, where we have to do something and I'm waiting, I can continue writing. So I can get 2 or 3 scripts and then I can just record that. And I have more scripts than I have time to record, but I actually have recorded already 3 or 4 videos that I have to find time
Hmm.
to edit.
Edit.
And I
Yeah.
like that portion of it because now I have, if I can't film or I don't have a new idea that week, I have something that I can go back to and pull from, and it's the archive, and then I can just edit and then
Yeah.
I post sometime during the week. I don't have a defined schedule, so
I'm
that's one of
doing
the.
I'm doing I'm doing kind of similar with script writing. I'm writing scripts for my videos. Just if I do not do that, I am just rambling around and talking too long, and
Mhm.
that doesn't work well for me. I like to write down scripts, and usually, not usually, always, I have more than one script in process, and maybe a few of scripts are already done for recording. But yeah, video recording, editing, that takes a lot of time, and
And
that is it. I was thinking actually about outsourcing editing, just because I'm not and can't be the best editor, just because I learned editing not so far away. But I even tried that. I have probably 2 videos on my channel
mhm.
edited by freelancer, but I found that I don't know, I don't like that. I really like create those videos. I like to edit those videos, and so yeah, I'm back to editing those by myself. Yeah.
it it is on my list to eventually get to a point where I can offload the editing portion of the videos. It would save a lot of time for sure,
Yeah.
except that the the level of standard that I would want, that would cost way more than I would be willing to pay for at this time, because the way I set it up, it's like anything that I buy for the channel, anything I do for the channel, like the services and whatnot, the money has to come from there. So it has to be paid for. And
Hmm.
thus far, the channel is not making enough money to cover someone to edit 4 videos a month. But if it gets there, maybe. But it would have to be someone that I'm very confident with, not just because the type of video I don't want a Mr. Beast video where everything's always moving and graphics
Yeah.
and just it's like that works for him and that entertainment thing. But for me, it's like the brand package that I want is very specific, and I can offload that to someone else and be like, use all this and have everything set up. But the few people that I have looked at, they do more Mr. Beast kind of editing where I don't know
Hmm.
if it would work for me. Maybe it will, but I'm just not there yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, about the same. I see that if I have to pay good price for editing, that is way more than channel generates. So and I enjoy editing, and also it's kind of hard because if I have just video when I am sitting talking to camera and I have some b-roll on top of that, that's kind of easy to edit. But sometimes I'm mixing some vlog part into that. I don't know how that video should be edited until I start to edit, how that will be done by someone else.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the because your channel's a little bit bigger than mine, but like we're still at that point where they're not big enough where we can't experiment. We can still
Yeah.
you did like I think 6 weeks worth of vlog style channels where you're on vacation and you just filmed it by the pool, and uh, you're editing there as well, and then you just kind of posted it and you're complaining that the internet wasn't fast enough. And
Yeah.
those were great videos that came across as you enjoying, but still made time to be consistent, which I find fantastic because it does take a lot of time to think of the idea, then to film it, then to film all the B-roll, then to edit it all together, and then all the work that comes afterwards, which is the posting, writing the description, then doing the versions for Instagram, and then the thumbnails and all that. It takes up so much time. So how do you find that time, having full-time work through multiple avenues, freelancing, the startup stuff that you're doing, family, and just like, do you set a day to record, or do you do it
I
like I
am,
may have it tonight and just kind of go?
yeah, more like that. But I'm currently replanning. I was kind of loose a little bit for last few weeks because of vacations and so on. For vacations, actually, I was on vacation for almost every other work, and I did some minimal things, minimal
Mhm.
stuff, some attending on meetings, something like that on calls, but didn't do any programming and so on. But yeah, but I stick with YouTube videos, filmed and edited those. But yeah, how I do that, basically I am planning time when I will do what, and I have basically that kind of set down in set in calendar. I have currently I have every day for 2 hours on the morning for YouTube. Basically, that is script writing and so on. And when I will decide to that I am ready to film, I will choose day when I am filming. But I have 2 days in 2 hours in a day planned for YouTube. And then I have time for drive around kids to schools and so on. That's kind of family
Mhm.
time. Then I have in the middle of the day, I have work, and that is freelancing work on, or work on my startup. And nights, that is again streaming. Currently, on this week, I experimented. I put together streaming on Twitch. That's kind of social presence, and working on my own apps. So I designed and developed my own applications and streamed the process. I'm thinking maybe put stream on YouTube as well. We'll see. I didn't decide that. So basically, I'm trying to find time around the clock. I do on weekends. I'm trying to spend time with family, but as you saw on my vacations, that doesn't hurt if I spend some hour or two during the trip to record a roll, to talk something to camera, and then use that in video and so on. So that's how it works.
Yep. Yeah, I try to record on the weekend. Usually Sunday night is when I try to record, and through the week when I can just find time to write. And then the hardest part is finding time to edit, and that's usually
Yeah.
after the kids are in bed. Then I'll go and spend like 2 hours, 3 hours. Um, my videos take way too long to edit comparatively. I think like 5 to 6 hours is how long it takes me to do one video with all the B roll that comes in. Um, but I like that. I like my format, which is simple enough. I get to, it's a talking head with
Yeah.
B roll and just my thoughts on how to improve, how to get stuff done faster, and helping other people get there faster. Like, so,
For me, that is, I'm running quite a lot. I'm counting time. I'm running timers to see where time is going, and I see that I'm spending, let's say, from 6 to 10 hours on video. That's something about that. That includes script writing, filming, editing, and so on. So
mhm.
it's 6 to 10 hours, and what helps to 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 do not lost in tasks and so on. I'm usually planning week ahead. Then I have a plan for the next week, and when I plan a week, then I on each day I'm planning day what I'm planning to do in that day. And usually I highlight 2 3 main tasks what I'm planning to do. If I do those 3 things, I will be happy. Maybe I need to deliver something to my freelance customers.
Mhm.
Maybe I have to do something on my startup, or I'm planning to work on YouTube, something like that. And of course, all the small things happens around
Yeah,
emails. I don't know, something, but that helps to keep focus. If
yeah,
I'm planning on big things for the week, usually that is record and post YouTube video. That is already one big thing for the week. And yeah,
yeah.
and then moving from that, and prioritization. So that's about it. Yeah.
I think I start every day like that. What are the three big things that I need to achieve today? And then everything else comes down to it'd be nice to have. And like, I
Yeah.
know that there's client work that I need to take care of. I know that there's usually stuff that needs to be taken care of with like family stuff. Um, so clients kind of will chew up a big portion of the day because that's stuff that needs to get done. And a lot of the clients that I have, they're okay with the being flexible on the time. Like it's not on a timer where it's like I need certain things done. I don't need to be sitting at a desk.
That's how my, I don't know, can you see that on camera? Barely. No. That's how my week looks like. No, this way.
A nice. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Hold on. Oh, wait. Hold on. I'm gonna bring you up here.
okay, it's too bright anyways. But
Yeah.
yeah, basically that is color coded. There is sleep time, there is email, there is YouTube, there are exercises and so on. Basically that is time boxing. And I am putting my 2-3 main tasks in those boxes, and that's how I can manage all of that.
Yeah. I'm not
That
as
works.
definitely not as structured as that. Like I know I have the three important things, but I don't. I don't have a strict calendar like that where I follow it. It's like okay, only for 2 hours because some of the things that I'm working on it may take 10 minutes, and other times it may take 4 hours
Yeah.
because it's detailed or there's a file that needs to be prepped before I can do that other thing, and it's hard to gauge exactly the like to the hour. It's like well, and I can't just stop. I can't be like oh I have a hard out at this point with the kind of work that I do. Just like making a YouTube video, it's like you don't know it's going to take you 2 hours to edit or 4 hours to edit. It just
Yeah.
because especially if there's any distractions that come in during that. Do you turn off your devices when you work? Do you do it? Listen to music?
Uh, I do not. I'm not turning them off, but I do not pay attention on them. Let's say so. I am sometimes when I can't get, let's say, into workflow, I'm using Pomodoro timers, Pomodoro technique. If I like to procrastinate and I feel that I can't start work for some reasons,
Hmm.
I start to run those timers. So that's 25 minutes to work, 5 minutes to rest, and so on. And usually that's enough to run 2, 3 those timers, and then you are in the flow.
So you how do you so that's how you self motivate where it's just like that when this timer's done I gotta move on to the next thing or like how do you yeah like how do you keep self motivated working for yourself like you're in your office right now just like I am like this
Yeah.
is that's home base that's your office and how do you self motivate how do you continue to turn on the computer and just go at it again.
I don't know. That's kind of self-promotion. I recently recorded video about that. Motivation is you don't need motivation. You need this discipline. So
Yep.
motivation is nothing great because motivation is good to start something, to get inspired and
Hmm.
so on. But if you will wait for motivation to do something, you are in very very bad place, and you can start procrastinate, and that is spiral down to more procrastination, depression, whatever, name it, all the mental problems. But
And I've heard so many times, like, and I've done this myself in the past, where it's like, as soon as I get this, then I'll do that, or as soon as I achieve this, then I'll start that. As soon as I figure this out, then I'll do that. Instead of like just
yeah,
start. I read recently, it's like someone said, start then learn, not learn then start, because you'll actually learn faster if you start now than trying to learn without starting. It's like that whole thing. It's like you can't get a six pack of abs by reading about doing
yeah,
sit-ups, right? So
yeah,
it's like there's a point where you have to just start doing it, and then you'll know what is working, what doesn't work, what works for you, because there isn't a regimen that works for everybody. There isn't a consistency plan that's only 9 steps, and this is what you'll do to achieve everything that you want. Do you know who Roberto Blake is? Pretty sure if you,
yes, I know.
yeah.
YouTuber
So
is
yeah,
he's yeah.
Yeah, so he talks about how when the best way to learn how to do YouTube is by doing YouTube, and there's no way around that. Like, make your first video, you'll learn everything you need to learn. Like you said, you started with an iPhone, and now you leveled up your gear, but you didn't need the gear that you have now when you were first starting, because everything that your phone can do, like expose, uh, composition, lighting, getting audio in, all that is the basics are built into that. But once you learn the
Exactly.
basics, how to expose, how to frame, how to move the camera, then you can start going, okay, well, let's get a better tool to help you do that. It's not the other way around where it's like, give me the tools and then
Yeah.
I'll create. It's like, no, create, and then you'll understand how to use the tools better.
Right. You can't just sit and wait when you will be ready to run marathon. You have to start training. You have your goal in mind. You want to run marathon, or you want to get to the 100K subscribers on YouTube, whatever is your goal. And you can't just sit and wait until you will be ready to hit that record button, or run that marathon. You have to plan your steps, what you will do to reach that goal. And then it is question of discipline, how you will go step by step to your
Yep.
goal. And if something doesn't work, goal is okay. Keep that goal, but change the plan. For me, for example, when I learned programming, that is not so easy thing to learn programming.
No.
I was product manager. I was working full-time job as head of products. I managed 3 product managers. So I was quite busy, but I wanted to jump off of that corporate career and learn software development programming. So I tried to learn on the evenings after work, but there's sometimes you are tired, sometimes you have family things and so on. So I decided that I just need to wake up earlier on mornings, and that works for me. And that was question of plan and discipline. You decide what you like to do, you plan how you will do that, put that in calendar, and work on that priorities.
Do you like what you do? Like, is this something that you were doing on the side and researching outside of work? Like, were you doing this in your free time, learning how to do that?
Yes, basically everything what I am doing, I enjoy to do that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why I
And that's the
basically that's I avoid things that I don't like to do as much
like
as
any
possible.
like any rational human being. I'm the same way. And I remember when I first got a camera in my hand when I was 12 years old, and just that excitement that it had, and it's like that's all I wanted to learn, that's all I wanted to know about. Like, I got obsessed with it. And like, when you find that thing, it pulls you as the motivation. It's like, I remember I would go to school, um, I was in a band as well, we were practicing, but like, as soon as I was done all that, exhausted, I would still pick up the camera and want to continue doing that, and it just kept going. Um, so that's, I wouldn't say it's motivation. I would actually say that was more of an obsession, where it's like I couldn't help it but continue doing it. It's just like
Yeah,
my brain was like, "Are you still reading about how to use that camera? Are you still reading about how to use After Effects?" And kind of just get obsessed with it. And it's a little bit crazy from the outside, but when you're just I need to figure this out, because like once you figure it out, you have this like the endorphin, the dopamines just rush, and you're like, oh
yeah.
yeah, this, and then you're like, you just want to experience that again. Um,
And that also helps for motivation. Yeah, if you of course, in every job, whatever you are doing, there will be days when you are not interested to do that, or don't like to do that, or you like to skip that gym, or skip that
yeah,
upload for video or whatever. But we have to find how to make it fun and interesting for ourselves. And when you start doing that, when you complete, if it is very big goal, it is smart to make it in smaller steps and smaller goals. And then when you start to achieve those smaller goals, you already have inspiration, and then you get this motivation from action. You don't need to wait for motivation. You have to start doing something, and progress and success will motivate you, and that will be fire and fuel for your machine.
And when it comes to, because YouTube specifically, I know for you, it is a divergent from like the whole creating the videos, the whole writing the videos, but it's still on a topic. So you have to learn this whole other skill set just to communicate your topic, which I find fascinating, because when I stepped into it, I already knew all this. I knew cameras. I knew, well, not so much audio, but like I knew roughly what I needed to do. So it wasn't much of a learning curve for me to jump into making YouTube videos. But I got obsessed with figuring out how to do it better. And that's what my channel really became about. It's like, it's how do I make this better? Like my next video that is coming out is about this microphone, about how I was looking for a microphone that wasn't this guy, because this is a great microphone, but it's overkill if like for what I needed. But like all my pro friends, all the audio guys are like, well, that's the one you need to get, because, and I found that I needed to avoid, especially on the YouTube channel, I needed to avoid going like, well, if you want the best quality, you just need to get the most expensive, budget friendly cinema camera, which is, $8,000. It's like, no, it's like I wish I knew about this microphone. And this is the kind of stuff that I get excited about, because I don't want to make videos about pro gear and how the pros use it, because then that audience, the pros, they already know how to use it. They're not going to care. But like, there's so many people, it's like, how do I get this kind of sound, but for entry level prices? Like that kind of idea. Like, how can I recreate the, like what the pros use and what actually works that same way? And so that's why like the EOS R videos, where it's just like, I had a high-end DSLR, which was fantastic. And I bought this camera because I wanted to have C-Log, or sorry, I bought this camera, the EOS R, because where's my interview? Did I mess myself up? All right. So yeah, I bought the EOS R because I wanted a second camera that could match the C200 in terms of the footage, but still be full frame and not be another most expensive thing. And when I got my hands on it, I was actually really impressed. And so I wanted to make videos letting other people know, it's like, if you want this quality of the $7,000 camera, this $2,000 one does a really good job with it, right? And at the time, it was the first Canon mirrorless camera, and some people are like, oh, mirrorless and Canon, and they don't know what they're doing. And it's like, and then at the end of the year, it was like considered one of the best cameras that came out that year. So it's that excitement where it's like, you can get this kind of quality, but for much, much less and much less effort. So that definitely helped.
I'm using USR as well. I remember how it was when it came out. There was a lot of negative feedback, and then everyone after started to use it on YouTube and changed the opinion about that camera.
Yeah. So my wife is saying that the love for what you do has to be greater than the hesitation. Yeah, I think that is a very powerful statement, where the fear of getting in front of the camera. Like I never did anything in front of the camera before. And I was around film sets a lot, and they're like, get in there, we need someone else to, like, no, I didn't want to be in front of the camera. I didn't want to act. I had no desire to do this. And my wife definitely, but I wanted to share how awesome it can be and how you can do stuff a lot easier, because I saw so many tutorials and so many people doing lighting videos. I'm like, why are you doing it like that? Like, so you're making it so much more complicated than it needs to be. It's like, no, you don't need to buy that. No, you don't need to. And it was just like that frustration that was the motivation to start this. It's like, I wish more people knew the actual things that professionals do to make a good image, the actual things that the processes that they do, and like these are the things that work well. It's not just like what the latest thing is. And so getting
Yeah.
in front and just being uncomfortable, I got comfortable with being uncomfortable. So that helped get past. And
Yeah, I count myself as well-adapted introvert. That was hard for me as well, to be in front of camera, to talk to camera, and yeah, and put that out in public, and so on. Camera was something, I don't know, new for me. Speaking in English also is not easy for me. It's my
what do you
third
mean?
language.
What, English is not your first language? What? Technically, English is not my first language either, but I did have an advantage because I was younger when we moved to Canada. So
Okay.
I just hide it a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah. No, my English is third language for me.
Oh,
My native
nice.
is my native is Latvian. I learned Russian as next language, and English is my third. Yeah, yeah. But there is no other way around to be more comfortable on camera or be more comfortable in public speaking. Just start to do that, and
Yeah.
that will become better. And I believe that those are very valuable skills in our age, and
I
sooner you start to do
yeah.
that,
I
better
think
for you.
it is invaluable. And we talked about this a little bit earlier where we know the value of putting ourselves out there and connecting with people that are very much like-minded. And with my channel, I know that I found opportunities that I wouldn't have been able to find because of the channel. I've had conversations with people that just wouldn't have happened because it wasn't in my networking sphere before, right? And doing this and just putting out a video, and then someone watched the video, and then it connects with someone on the other side of the planet, that it allows you to open doors that are not available unless you start doing the social part of the networking. And it's so important. And I knew it was important because in my industry, it's all about networking. It's all about who you know. It's all about who you know, who can introduce you to someone else that will then finance that project that you want to do. Because we're talking about big money. We're not talking about like, oh, I know a friend who has $5,000. No, we're talking about like if you want your project done, you need several $1,000,000. And like, how many people know people that have that kind of thing, right? Like in the film industry, that's unheard of. To just get your neighbor to invest in your project. No, you need to show that you have a track record, that you're consistent, that you're able to keep going even when no one is applauding you, no one is motivating you to keep going. And that's where it does come from within, where it's just like, okay, I'm gonna do this again. I'm gonna go, like, that video didn't do so well, and so just the only thing that you can control is how many videos you post and how you interact with the people that watch your video. That's it. That's the only thing that you have control over. The amount of views and whatnot, that's not motivation. It especially early on, it doesn't motivate to continue doing it, especially when you're sub 1,000 subscribers. And like a few people are like, this is a great, more people should watch this. I'm like, hopefully they will, but that's not up to me, right? Like,
Sure. It was, yeah, on beginning now one is watching it, that's fine, and you have to expect that. And until you posted, I don't know, about 50 videos, do not have high expectations.
no.
It was, in my first year, I posted, as I said, 19 videos, yeah, and on 12, yeah, and only in 2018, that was beginning, 2019, that was 19 videos, and I reached 1K on 2020 only. So it took year to get on to 1,000 subscribers on channel, to have
Yeah.
some traction on that.
So how many
So,
videos did you have when you reached 1,000?
around 20.
Yeah, yeah, it was same here, and it took me almost a year to get to 1,000, and then you just kind of slowly and you just keep going because something is working, and this is the I think the most frustrating thing for me is that something that people that make videos, once you start getting enough videos under your belt, you have this a little bit of intuition that's like, okay, I know this is going to work, something like this is going to work. And then when you try to pinpoint it, when you're like, this is going to work, this video that I'm going to post is going to work, and then it doesn't, you're like, but it worked, like, it worked here, but now it's not working. And then you're
Yeah,
like, well, this video's not gonna, whatever. This is I just enjoy this video. I don't expect anything from it. And then you just like, it gets so many views, and you're like, that's the frustrating part. I don't know
that
what
is it.
works or what combination of things work. Like the thumbnails, the titles, like sometimes the click through rate is really, like the thumbnail works well, but like what about the thumbnail is different than the last 8 thumbnails that I did, which is almost similar. So yeah, that's a frustrating thing. That's the part that I can't wrap my head around. Like what actually works, what combo thing works, and why did it work this time, but now it's not working, or it wasn't working before, but then when I tried it again, now it's working. It's just like, I don't know. It's a lottery sometimes.
Yeah, that really is. I tried to do some A/B testing for thumbnails and titles as well. So interesting results. But yeah,
Now,
that's hard to guess.
do you use Instagram for the A/B testing, or do you use, like, you just pull one up and then?
Sometimes a few times I asked it. I'm using sometimes Instagram as well, but I use it TubeBuddy for real numbers. Then you can see what what who is really clicking on YouTube
Yeah,
on videos. So yeah, but I don't know. It's quite a lot of time and effort to create all those different thumbnails and then test them and so on. And I still, yeah, guessing how nowadays which video will explode, which video will not get views and
yeah.
so on. That's still guessing game and lottery.
Now, do you find yourself not trying to chase a trend? Like, if you, like, people are talking about something, you're like, like,
Hmm.
or do you just kind of like do what you feel is what you would want to make a video about, not necessarily chasing a trend?
I'm not. I will not say that I'm jumping on trends. I'm keeping eye on Apple, and of course, if something happens around, because I am developing for iOS application. So basically, this Apple platform. I'm keeping eye on new phones, new hardware from Apple, and so on. Yeah, I'm recording, for example, M1 MacBook Pro. I got that. I created few videos about that.
Hmm.
You can say that is trend because that gear is coming out and all the
Yeah,
YouTube creating videos about that kind of trends. Yes, but other than that, no. I'm creating videos what I want to create. Yeah,
yeah. I definitely have the heroes in my story that I've chosen. It's like Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve are like the two NLEs that I like using. Mac, I almost don't do any PC related videos at all,
hmm
because it's not something that I use. So I don't want to make
yeah,
videos about stuff that I won't use. Like, I'm into the Mac ecosystem, and I think you do the same thing where it's just like you talk about, this is the stuff that I actually use and that
yeah,
actually helps me and makes the job easier, instead of like my thoughts on, the new, AMD Ryzen processors. Is like, I wouldn't care about it outside of the YouTube channel, so why would I put it in there
yeah.
as well?
Exactly, it's the same. Also, when I'm talking about some gear, I'm looking on that from my perspective as from
Hmm.
person who is using that gear for software development and so on. And I believe that that helps also to address some specific audience and group of people on YouTube. Because, for example, when I did 16-inch MacBook Pro review, there also Mac Mini, the same. I did some tests for Xcode for programming and so on, and shared my experience with that, and found comments that finally someone is looking on something from development perspective, because most of videos are from, let's say, average tech YouTuber who is
Yeah.
just creating YouTube videos, and that is for what gear is used. So
Yeah, yeah, and I found the same thing where even though I made the M1 Mac Mini videos, and it's probably by far one of my best performing videos, I got a lot of questions about how is this for web development? Is 8 gigs? And I remember I sent a lot, quite a few people your way. It's like, check out his channel because he actually talks about that specifically. But yeah, it's like it's not my pro machine. It's not the machine that I rely on to do my work. I'm still rocking an Intel Mac as because it just everything I know works and it's set up to work, and the Mac Mini is just not strong enough to do what I need. And yeah, it can brute force it a little bit, but like when it comes down to it, I can't rely on, like this new chip that's going to be throttled when I
yeah,
start when I hit the render button for more than like 15 minutes, where people are rendering out 15-minute long videos. Like that's fine, but when I start pushing it in like in After Effects and Cinema 4D, when I start doing that stuff, it just I didn't even bother to make videos about it because it's just like there's nothing to. If anyone's using these professionally, they're it, they should wait. And especially at this point,
yeah,
um, this is not something that is. It's a great little machine, 100%. Is it up to the level that I would require? No. And that's the kind of video that I wanted to make. Like 8 gigs isn't somehow magical, and
no,
I'm pretty sure for a lot of people it works really well. It just didn't for me. I wasn't the lucky one that experienced that, like, oh my goodness, I was just able to do that. It didn't. Like instantly I loaded it up. I loaded up one of my YouTube videos. So like what most of the people are using it for, and I hit play, flickering, the screen's nutty. I'm like, what's going on? Like that's it. Just it didn't work out, and it is because of the camera and the codec that I was using. So
yeah.
if I had a different camera, probably would have a different experience. But this is my camera. I'm not gonna go and buy a new camera
But
just so I can.
did you use it EOS or
Yeah,
you
the
did you
EOS
use
R
it?
is fine, but like
Yeah,
my main camera is the C200, and it
yeah,
records
yeah,
in.
right.
Uh,
I'm using EOS and it works perfectly fine on M1. Yeah,
yeah, and all the new cameras, all the Sonys, the A7S III, the R6, the R5, the H.265 codec works beautifully on it. Fantastic. But that's not what I'm going to be using, and that's not what I'm
I
going to be
have
receiving
I
from.
have here 32 gigabytes of RAM, i7, and so on, Hackintosh, and I used it before for video editing
Hmm.
and programming and so on. But currently, I see that M1 MacBook Pro is just fine, and I do not see any benefits from that machine anymore.
Oh,
So
absolutely. I'm so excited for what Apple, because we're in the 90-day Apple event window. Like
yeah,
something is going to be released, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be the 16-inch MacBook Pro and the updated Mac Mini redesign or whatever.
mhm.
So I'm really excited about the next 10 years of what Apple is about to release. Like I'm excited to get either the Mac Mini or another or a MacBook or the MacBook Pro. And then next year getting a Mac Pro, which would be something that I would use as my main machine. But if I can get something that is going to work as well as the Mac Mini can, like I'm using it for live stream right now because
Yeah,
it's quiet, it works well, there's no issues. But when I use it with the apps that I use it with, it it doesn't have a graphics card that works with stuff that I need. So, and
Yeah.
again, it's like I don't even want to make those videos because it's not what I'm trying. It's not for that's not the audience. Like my audience doesn't care about Cinema 4D or After Effects on that level. Like I've tried to make a few videos, the like almost no views. So it's like I'm just gonna leave like obviously that's not what people are coming to me for. But that's what I do professionally every single day.
Yeah.
So Diago saying that he understands that there's workflows that require determined gadgets and equipment, but worry about animals. Don't forget about us. That's right. You animals, you guys. I'm excited about Apple returning to being in the creative space. I know that for a while people were walking away from Apple because it just wasn't.
Yeah.
It was too expensive for getting something that was worthwhile. So I've heard rumors. I don't know if you've heard this as well, but I actually think that the new Mac Pro, and this is definitely exciting for me, is going to go back to a base price of $3,000, which is awesome. If they can put an M1 Apple Silicon chip in a Mac Pro and get the same sustained performance that I can get from Intel Mac Pros,
Yeah. That
I'm
will
interested.
be great. Yeah.
I'm interested, and that's we'll see. We'll see what they do.
I have fingers crossed for 14-inch MacBook Pro because I
It's
had
coming.
I had 16-inch. It's a little bit too big to carry comfortable around, and 14-inch will be just perfect. But yeah, good price for good desktop. That also sounds great. I'm more interested to see monitors from Apple currently, frankly, because M1 works for me well. Of course, I will be happy to upgrade to 14-inch if it will come with multiple monitor support and so on. But I would like to see more affordable monitor. That's HDR 6 or whatever thousands. Price tag is way too high for
Oh
me.
yeah, I'm still rocking an LG monitor, 32-inch. I'm waiting. I'm actually waiting for the monitor that I wanted to get is the BenQ 3220U. I don't know, whatever. It's their designer view monitor. It has like perfect colors and whatnot, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
almost always out of stock when I try to buy it. And now it's almost 3 years old, the design. So like,
Mhm.
is it out of stock because they're going to update it? I don't know. We'll see. But
Yeah.
yeah, I can't. I on my channel I talk a lot about you don't need to buy anything new. If you have a camera, a computer, and a light, you have more than enough to start doing what you do. But I love hearing and seeing what is coming down the pipe. Like I love reading about the Sony cameras. Will I ever buy one? Probably not, because it's just I'd rather stick with cameras that all work in my system, because I do need to go on set and I do need to have them as near and close as possible. I actually prefer to rent the exact same camera over and over again. Like I'd rather have three identical cameras, all the
Yeah.
same buttons, all the same sensor, 100% interchangeable lenses, than having like, well, I'll have this Sony and the Panasonic and a Black Magic, and like, no, just like get that away from me. I don't want anything to do with that. Like, if you've ever been on a set, it's like someone coming to you and saying, can you I need you to develop an app, but you need to use this PC, and so you can do
Mhm.
it. You'll have to learn a whole different language, but like no, like you wouldn't want to do that, right? It's
Of
just like
course.
I don't know what the best example for that is, but like
Yeah, I got it.
so
I got it.
hold on. So Diago's saying that entry level hobbyists and new professionals still animal level standard. Yeah, if you did a realistic and positive review of the major brands I'm talking about here, yeah. So yeah, it I'm trying to find sources and things that work as well as the professional brands, instead of having to spend $5,000 on a budget cinema camera where it's just like there's ways to make a lot of stuff look good. I say very, very often, probably too often, that learn lighting first because it will make any camera a great camera.
Yeah,
So
totally agree. I was looking back on my first videos on my YouTube, and those was recorded on phone, but iPhone wasn't the biggest problem there. Lighting was, and sound was. I
yeah,
could do that video better with the same phone, but with better lighting. Yeah.
yeah. Like, can I get this kind of image with an iPhone? No, probably not. Can I get a
No.
good image from an iPhone? Yes, absolutely. And that's the difference. It's not trying to recreate what a camera will look like. It's trying to make the camera that you have look as good as possible. And instead of like worrying like when I get that camera, that's when I'll start the YouTube channel. When I get that thing, that's when I'll do that. Like when I was doing the vlog channel, when I was doing the tutorial channel, I wasn't even using a camera. It was just literally screen grab of of so like and I got I think 1,800 subscribers over the year or so that I had it, and then I just kind of stopped, and it kept growing after that. Um,
Mhm.
but like all those tutorials are irrelevant because the programs have changed so much that it doesn't matter anymore. And then when I started the vlog channel, it was a DSLR. We had a Canon 6D, and also because I had the 1DX as well. Those were the two cameras. But in terms of the quality between the two cameras, I wouldn't say that it was night and day. It was just like if we were editing, you wouldn't be able to tell which camera was what. And now I'm intercutting. All my B-roll is with the EOS R. It's with all my videos with all my B-roll. Where is it? There it is. Come on. All my B-roll is with this camera. For some reason, it's oh, the battery died. Never mind. Let me go back. So yeah, all my B-roll is with in HD on the Canon EOS R in C-Log, and I'm shooting at in a dark room because that's the style that I'm going for, and I'm still able to get a good image. So it's just understanding how to work with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so any last final thoughts that you want to share about being consistent and thoughts for uh, to help people that haven't started or that have started and are discouraged? But like, what's something that you would say? What's something that you tell to everyone that asks you, should they start a YouTube channel? How do you keep consistent? And
Yeah, I'm saying that consistency is most important thing when you start something, whatever you're doing. Learn programming, start new business, start YouTube channel, and so
working
on.
out, yeah.
Consistency is the most important thing because if you will work on that thing, what you are doing consistently, you will have success. And what I'm saying also usually suggesting if you're planning consistency, small amounts of work, but every day is much better than if you will spend one day on a week or one day on in a month working on your thing. Plan, I don't know, hour in a day for learning or working on your
Mhm.
business or learn editing and or write scripts for videos, but do that every day, and that will help to succeed.
And it's just like working out or with anything that you put effort into. The consistency breeds consistent improvement, because when you make your first video, it's not going to be perfect. And I came from it I understood cameras, lighting, and stuff. And my first video, it's terrible. I would say like it's hard to watch because I have no personality. I wasn't talking the way I talk now, where I'm confident. I wasn't talking the way I would talk to clients, to people on set, where it's like, you need to have that kind of the a little bit of overconfidence when you're talking to the camera, and the enthusiasm. It didn't come through. It was just like me being like, okay, I'm going to tell you matter of factly. I was just telling. And the consistency, it's like, okay, the next video. And my set hasn't changed much. I just changed the lighting because every video I'm like, okay, what didn't I like? What did I like? Because you can actually go back and watch the last thing that you did and be like, okay, what can I improve? How can I make the edit better? How can I make this a bit more interesting? And I find that if you're able to get through your first 10 videos and rewatch them without going, ugh, until you can watch a video without cringing, then you know that you haven't reached that consistent kind of quality phase where it's just like if something is dragging or you said something more than once, get rid of it. Like YouTube is it's entertainment anchored with information or education, but it's like the anchor, the base is all entertainment. Like make it fast enough where if it's a tutorial, make it fast enough so someone doesn't get click off. Because when someone's watching a YouTube, when someone's watching on YouTube, their tendency is to wander and click onto something else. And if you want to make a tutorial that's slow, then build a course because then people are going to be dedicated watching it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they're saying that kill your darlings because you cut out all those you think that is interesting and so on, but is it really important? Cut that out.
Yeah. Is it necessary? Is it vital to what you're trying to communicate, or is there a better way to communicate it? It's there's a copywriting saying from like years back: why use 10 words when 3 will do? And I think that's one of the best ways to approach YouTube. Like, keep it as fast as possible. Like, it's not about talking as fast as possible, but keep it fast, like moving, where it's just like, don't repeat yourself, because people can always go back and they can rewatch on YouTube. Sorry, Diego is also saying mental mapping and copywriting courses can be more productive than learning on your own. It like learning a process and then making it your own is going to be what helps you do it. So if it helps you, then it'll help you. But yeah, being consistent to get better and have your quality be consistently improving, that's the fundamentals of doing anything, as you were saying. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of call it there. I'm gonna say thank you very much for joining me on chatting on this topic. And I know that I've been following you for quite some time now and loving your growth and everything that you've been kind of bringing. And it's very much, you have a very similar path to me. So it was easy for me to connect with what you're talking about, especially from the freelance self-starting and then putting a YouTube channel on top of all of it and keeping consistent with it. So guys, make sure that you guys go check out Ivar's channel on YouTube. There it is.
Thank you for having me. Yeah,
there's a link.
That was really pleasure to talk with you. Yeah, I see that very much we have quite a lot of similarity. A little bit different industries, but approach and thinking behind, I think that is very similar. And it was a real pleasure to be here and talk with your audience as well. Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, beautiful. So guys, link is in the description for his channel. Go check him out if you guys are into coding and also love Mac as much as we do, because we kind of obsess over it and enjoy it. He also streams on his channel a lot, and he talks about some great freelancing tips that are much better than mine. So Ivars, thank you so much. Have a great Thursday, everybody. I will see you guys next week, and I look forward to your next video. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.